Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, coming at you with another review, and continuing with my David Cronenberg film reviews. I just watched Rabid, which I know in my review for The Brood, I said that was Cronenberg's second film. That's a fuck up. This is a second film. It went Shivers, this, and then there's actually a car action film that's not horror that I didn't even know about called Fast Company, and then The Brood. So, messed up there. Cronenberg's second film, 1977. Like his first film, this again explores what he would become known for, body horror. And like Shivers, it is a unconventional zombie film. Because it is more or less a zombie film. You know, even though it was really before the zombie film was kind of perfected. Like, this was a year before Dawn of the Dead. But, yeah, you know, Shivers was horny, sexed up zombies. This one is more or less rabies. It is rabies. It's a new strand of rabies. But, of course, it's done in the way David Cronenberg would do it. It stars Marilyn Chambers, who is a legendary pornographic actress. I guess Cronenberg wanted a Sissy Spacek, but the studio didn't because they didn't like her accent or whatever. So they found out that Chambers was looking for a mainstream non-pornographic role, so she got it. And the story is her and her boyfriend, played by Frank Moore. That's not right. Reed? Who the hell is Reed? Give me a minute. Okay. Hart Reed is her boyfriend's name, but on this it says as Reed, but everyone calls him Hart. So Frank Moore is her boyfriend. They're on his motorcycle. They get in an accident. She gets really badly injured. Conveniently, they crashed right next to a hospital that specializes in plastic surgery. And they rush her right in. And the doctors, Keloid, Dan Keloid and Roxanne Keloid, played by Howard Richman and Patricia Gage. Which, she looked familiar. What the hell else? Have I seen anything else she was in? No? American Psycho, but who the hell was she in American Psycho? Oh well. Oh, she was probably that woman at the end that selling the apartment. Anyway, not important. There's this new radical kind of surgery that uses... I keep referring to this. Morphogenetically. So yeah, there's this new radical kind of surgery that Dr. Keloid uses on her, using genetically neutral grafts. Meaning skin grafts that will hopefully form to and replace damaged tissue and organs. And, the slit is under her armpit. And what it does is it creates a, we don't really get to see a good look at it, but, there's like a hole. Instead of, she heals, but it forms this new sort of organ that can only survive off human blood. So, like, her nutrition IV makes her sick. There's several scenes of her trying to eat something as she gets sick. And when she wakes up from her coma, there's this other patient who's walking by, and she wakes up and she wants him to hold her because she's cold. And the way she's hugging him, she stings him. And that's how she does it. And eventually, you know, she leaves the hospital, and pretty much she's trying to get back to Montreal. Her boyfriend's in Montreal. Him and I think his lawyer or whoever it is, played by Joe Silver, is trying to get to her at the hospital. So they sort of go like this. Is she's hitchhiking, and along the way she's feeding on all these people. But those she those she feeds on, first, you know, they don't remember anything, and then they quickly become rabid zombies. To the point where it just becomes a flat out epidemic. And I will say I enjoyed this. The body horror element was kind of downplayed. I mean, it wasn't as extravagant as, say, The Fly. To me, that's the epitome of body horror. It wasn't as strange as, say, a Videodrome. Even The Brood had very small scenes of, you know, the body. So this thing it's a red phallically shaped appendage that can come in and out of that hole in her armpit. And the stinger can come out of the tip of that. And, you know, like, first I guess there's like a farm nearby the hospital. This drunken redneck farmer. First she tries feeding on a cow. She gets sick. And then the redneck farmer comes in. He's either gonna assault her or, you know, that's the vibe. She's able to get him in the eye with it. And it gets to the point where, you know, she does it to a handful of people, you know, putting her arm around him. To the point where there's a point where she's hitchhiking, and she gets picked up by a trucker. And the trucker's a nice guy. He gives her a sandwich. She gets sick. You know, he pulls over, and he even, you know, he goes to pick her up to put her back in the truck. He's like, "We'll get you some soup. You're probably sick." But her arm is around him. And as I'm watching it, it's kind of like, "Oh, don't do that, don't do that." You know, first time in a while, you know, the movie set up the threat, how the threat is, you know, works, and then it sets up those false moments of dread. So that was well done. And the look of the zombies, or the rabies, looks very well done. You know, they're pale. They have like this yellowish, crusty shit around their eyes. And they just start foaming at the mouth. And then, you know, for that they scream and attack people. There was one fake out that I thought was well done. I didn't see coming. Much later in the film, you know, eventually she gets back to Montreal, and she's staying with a friend of hers. And by this point, we know whenever she goes out, whoever she talks to, she pretty much infects and feeds off of. There's a point where she's at a mall, and this guy walks up to her and offers her a smoke, but he doesn't have a lighter. But they're sitting right next to each other, and he's like, I'm going to go get a lighter off that guy. I'll be right back. So you're thinking, okay, she's going to get him next. But when he goes to ask the guy for the lighter, when he turns around, he's infected. Then he attacks him. So, this movie's not 100% predictable. It has twists and turns. So like her boyfriend, he's traveling with Joe Silver, his lawyer, whoever the hell it is. He has a baby. We see him feed the baby, the lawyer guy. So then later on, he said, like, because her boyfriend has a busted up hand, I guess he can't drive, plus his bike is all smashed up. He's like, look, I have to go check on my wife and my baby. I'll leave you my keys in the car. I gotta get home. So he gets home and, nobody's answering him when he calls out. He goes into the baby's room and, like, I guess it's like the diaper changing station. It's a very quick shot. Like, he lifts it and it's just blood everywhere. So his baby's been fucking eaten. Then he gets attacked by his wife. Of course, this scene of the person that looks like a heroin junkie, that's actually the first victim. I'm guessing it's at the clinic. Marilyn Chambers, character's name is Rose, walks up to her, gets in the hot tub, and, attacks her. And it's weird because after she does it, the camera holds on her for a lengthy period in slow-mo. It's kind of like her holding the body under the water, like with her arm around it. You kind of see like her in bliss, like smiling. It's just weird slow-mo holding on her for a long time. Then at the very end, spoilers, Rose is dead. She's been killed by a rabid. And these like biohazard guys are picking up bodies and throwing them in the garbage truck. Well, when they go to throw her in, it's at slow-mo, still shot again. So, don't really know what that really represents. Marilyn Chambers' performance. I do want to give notice to that because it's kind of strange because there's multiple layers to her performance. You have, there's times where she's, out in public and she's casual. She's cool, she's calm. There's when she sees she knows her opportunity. She sees someone as a victim and she's gonna go through with it. She kind of gets like you can see a look in her eye and just how she's kind of like, wow. I don't know how to explain it. And then there's, times where she has to feed and she's writhing and rolling around like she's dope sick. There's times where she's screaming and crying because she's scared or confused. There's multiple layers. Excuse me, I spit. She does all of them well. It's just, like, she does do all those parts well. It feels really random. Like, there's a part where when she first gets to Montreal, she's at her friend's house. She goes out. She actually goes to a porno theater. Assuming looking for a victim. And this guy sits behind her. He's like, oh, sorry. He takes off his jacket. He's like, oh, sorry. And she kind of says, oh, you did that on purpose. And he says something, and she's like, sorry. I like going to these kind of movies, but guys always bother me. He's like, well, I could sit with you. That way people would think we're together. They leave you alone. I'll ask for some popcorn. So it's like she's acting normal, and then you see her get like her her game face on. Like she's pulling him in, and like she's kind of, you know, she got that predator look, I guess I should say. So he sits next to her, they start kissing, and he starts like putting his hand down her shirt, and it goes closer and closer, and then scene ends. It shows her walking outside. She actually walks by another movie theater that has a Carrie poster. I guess that's Cronenberg's way of still putting Sissy Spacek in there. And actually, that's how a lot of them are. We don't really see what happens. Like the guy at the movie theater, the guy at the truck. There's another woman that picks her up hitchhiking after the truck. We don't really see it happen. We just see them later. Like after it shows her walking past the other movie theater, we cut back and he's like slumped over his theater seat. Camera pans down to his hand and there's a hole with blood. It kind of got confusing because I was like, okay, does she like who she's become? Is she scared of what she's become? You know, because her performance, her character changes so much. So I would say that, you know, it's just kind of, it's hard to figure out what exactly her character is. Like, I understand, I guess at times she could be scared, and then she gets hungry, she has to feed, she has to lure people in. But I don't know, her performance is all over the place, but she does all of them well. Better than what you would expect a porn star to act like. But I mean, when we do see the thing, we don't get a good look at it. But to see like when the doctor's looking at it, you kind of see the hole sort of like pulsate. You kind of see it kind of poking around. It is well done, and I did say I like the look of the zombies or the rabies, the infected. And, you know, it had its twists and turns, like, you know, like I said with the truck driver carrying her and she has her arm around him, you're like, ah, fuck, don't do that, but then nothing happens. Or the guy with the cigarettes, you think he's going to be the next victim, but he gets attacked by that rabid person. I thought it was a good, solid flick. I mean, as far as zombie movies go, it was different. You know, it did feel like a Cronenberg film. Which, I mean, if he didn't want a porn star, and if he wanted, like, an actual actress, it could get Sissy Spacek. There were times watching this, I thought, you know, that certain camera angles and lighting, I thought she kind of looked, you know, I could see, like, Dee Wallace in that role. There's a woman that is in a lot of Fulci films. I think she's in all 3 of Fulci's Gates of Hell films. The one on City of Living Dead that vomits her insides. But I thought Marilyn Chambers did fine. So, yeah, this is a movie I wanted to see for a while. And I enjoyed it. I've yet to see a Cronenberg horror film that I've disliked. I know there's some in the 90s and early 2000s that don't really look that good, like Existence, Crash, and Spider. I'm interested in seeing Spider because I love Ray Fiennes. Crash just because, you know, it's about people who get off to being in car accidents. So, and if it's Cronenberg, he's got to be able to pull that off. So yeah, I don't know if it's his most chilly, terrifying thriller ever. But, you know, it had its moments of dread, had good effects. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty solid. I still need to see Shiver or Shivers. I still want to see Shivers. That's kind of hard to find for some reason. But yeah, whether you look at it as a zombie film, a body horror film, just Cronenberg, or you, I thought it was pretty solid. And for his second movie, like his second like major feature film, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. So Rabid. Yeah, again, I know lately my reviews have kind of been all over the place, not really going from start to finish, but it literally is her trying to get back to Montreal, her boyfriend trying to catch up to her. They go like this, and it's all the people she infects between here and there. It's really what it is. And yeah. So again, another solid David Cronenberg flick. I do have one more Cronenberg film to a review. It is not Shivers, but it is one of his 80s body horror films. I'm not going to say what it is, but that will be my next video. I guess I could put this under my zombie film playlist. I mean, yeah, I guess I could. I mean, Quarantine is Rabies, and that's on there. So, anyway, Rabid, pretty solid. If you're into anything that I mentioned before, rabies, zombies, Cronenberg, horror, body horror, it's definitely worth a look. And if you have the money to get the Blu-ray, by all means, go ahead and get the Blu-ray. But anyway, that is David Cronenberg's Rabid, and thank you for watching.